what's up all of my real estate peeps? This is Brian Lucier with another episode of the Why Not Real Estate Podcast Golden Nugget, where we will take a tip, tactic, or technique and unpack it for you, our audience, all our real estate rock stars, entrepreneurs, where you can take these ideas, these golden nuggets, and put them in your tool belt or your toolbox and use them later in your investing to have a more profitable real estate entrepreneurial business. Well, today, I want to reflect a little bit on a book that I'm just finishing up, Getting to Yes, by Roger Fisher and William Ury. This book has been really, really good to read because as a property manager, I have to deal with people all day long. And it's not always my way or the highway. That's not reality. That's not life, how it works most of the time. And what I've been able to understand on this book that I'll share with you, and then later I want to get into our topic, winning with integrity. What does it all mean and how can we make it work for us? So there's principles and there's positions. Positions is, I want to buy your apartment building and I only want to pay $275,000. Your position is you want to sell the apartment building and you want $500,000. So based on our position, we're not on the same page and we're going to be butting heads trying to make that work. And you may look at me off of that first initial thing as, well, this guy's a useless louse. He's just trying to take advantage of me, steal my property from me, and that's it. That's going to kill the negotiation moving forward. There will be no further negotiation because I've already ruined the relationship and my reputation. Now, that's positional. Principle is we come to the table and say, well, Mr. Seller, I understand that you would like to get $500,000 for your property. Could you help me out here and maybe explain to me what you're basing that decision on or how you've gotten to that information? And you may say, well, Mr. Jones on the next block over just sold his property for $500,000, so that's what I want to sell mine for. Say, okay, well, let's look at Mr. Jones's property. He had a 5-bedroom, you have a 4-bedroom. He had 3 bathrooms, you have 2 bedrooms. He had a built-in pool and a garage. You have no pool, no garage. So based on that, on the principle, on the value of his property and the principle and the value of your property, where do you think we may end up for a sale price now? So principles is trying to step back from negotiation and say, okay, well, is there a standard that you and I both agree on that we can say, okay, this would be fair and reasonable. So if we apply our situation to what's fair and reasonable, what would work best for you and what would work best for me? You've heard me say this on other podcasts. I'm going to say it again. It's the story of the 2 grandmas with the orange. One wants the orange, the other wants the orange, and they fight and bicker back and forth. Finally, they say, fine, you take half the orange, I'll take half the orange. So one grandma takes her half of orange, squeezes it, makes orange juice, throws away the rind. The other grandma takes the orange rind, grinds it up to use it in her baking as orange rind over the cake that she's baking, and throws away the orange. So if they would have met on principle instead of position, position was, I want the whole orange. No, I want the whole orange. On principle, it's like, okay, well, why do you want the whole orange? Because I want to make orange juice. And why do you want the whole orange? Because I want orange rind. It's like, okay, now we understand. So you can get 100% of what you want, and you can get 100% of what you want. Both sides win, both sides are successful, because you step back from the situation and looked at the principle. Now, they go through tons of different negotiations in the book, war treaties, peace treaties, oil rights out on the open sea, some very difficult labor negotiations, and how did they get through all this? By trying to pinpoint someplace in the middle or someplace relative to the negotiation that was a fair principle to measure their deal off of. Okay? Now, winning with integrity, if I'm going to come in and negotiate with you, it is not in my best interest to come in and lowball you and try to beat you up on the deal. You're immediately going to feel like you're losing, and you're just never going to be happy, even if the deal goes well. But if we can talk about what do you really need, why are you selling, and what's the purpose, and why do I want to buy it, and, you know, if we can identify those two different principles or those two different values, and then label it with a principle that makes sense to you, it makes sense to me. Now, you're doing me a favor by helping me get to where I need to be. And now I can negotiate and structure my deal to help you in the situation where you want the best for yourself. So taking it from a positional, like I want a low price, you want a high price, to a principle, what is the market rate for this type of property in this neighborhood, in this market? He uses a really good one. Downtown Boston, young lawyer comes into a law firm and says, I want a job. So the partner says, well, obviously you don't have the experience I have, so I'm going to start you at $25,000 a year, just like I started 40 years ago. Well, the young student lawyer says, well, you know, with the cost of inflation and other salaries, maybe we could look at what other entry-level attorneys are getting and base the conversation off of that. So now the seasoned attorney says, great, well, I'm going to go to Des Moines, Iowa, and see what a entry level is there. So maybe it's 40 grand. And now, based on that principle, the lawyer coming into the firm, the young student, would say, well, maybe we should base the income on the market of Boston. What is the Boston market? Or if it were New York, what would Manhattan entry-level attorneys be getting paid? And maybe we can start the negotiations there. So obviously, the owner of the law firm wants to pay the least amount and get the most value, and the student coming in wants to get the most amount of money he can as a salary and be recognized for his value. So once the principle is out in the water and you can start to negotiate, then both sides can approach the table with integrity, because now the student out of law school hasn't come out and said, well, you know, you're just being ridiculous and you're not paying me what I'm worth, and, you know, I feel that I'm worth X. That's positional, and it's not going to win any friends or influence people. And on the same side of it, the partner with the law firm who needs to hire the new helper or a new attorney for the law firm says, well, okay, I see your point. Maybe we should be looking more at entry level in the market that we're in. So now both sides get to save face. When the student accuses the partner of the law firm of being out of touch and not knowing what he's doing, it's very difficult to come back from that position. But if they approach it with, well, let's look at what the market is doing, or what houses are selling for now, or what per door rate is for this type of property in this type of market with these types of rents. You know, all the things that you can look at to negotiate the deal. Because if you can be known and if you can build your reputation coming into the deal as someone who's fair, who will negotiate, and I'm not trying to steal a property from you or be a jerk to work with, that's going to go a long way for me for future deals and my reputation moving forward. Because now I may have references or referrals. I can go back in time and say, hey, I bought a property similar to yours. Here's the gentleman I bought it from. Why don't you talk to them and see how I did in the negotiations? And if you like what you hear, let's see if I can do the same for you. That works a lot better than coming in hard nose, hard ball, saying, well, I'm going to give you what I'm going to give you, take it or leave it, and that's how it's going to be. Now, is there ever a situation where you would take advantage of someone, I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't make that like I want to win this negotiation so I can tell all my friends I won this negotiation. They use an example of a cashmere rug. This guy goes to Kashmir, he buys this rug from a family, and they worked all year on this rug, but he agreed to pay them with a currency which was pretty much worthless. So now he got this valuable rug for like pennies on the dollar. So he really did a harm to this family. And now he's back where he lives, showing this cashmere rug to his friends and people he wants to influence. And he tells them the story of how he took advantage of this family. And now it makes him sick to even look at that rug anymore. So was the deal he made to take advantage of somebody else's situation really worth it to him in the long run in his integrity? Because now he doesn't even enjoy the value of what he got out of that rug. So be careful there, right? I mean, you may go in and try to negotiate the best possible deal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if it gets to the point where you've taken advantage of someone, you may actually be hurting your own reputation as someone, a trader, someone who people want to do business with. If you're known as a retrader, you want to retrade the deal, or constantly taking the nip or a bite out of someone when they try to make a concession, you're going to get a bad reputation to the point where, you won't be having return customers. If you wanted to work with a wholesaler and beat him up on a first deal, he's not going to bring you that second deal. But if you can show him fairly, say, look, I see where you're going with this. What does the market look like? What are the principles involved in this market that we could take a look at and really take a look and see where we are? Then you're going to build a better relationship, because it'll take you years of deals to build a good reputation, and it'll take one bad deal to totally ruin your reputation. So don't let that happen. You can still create a deal where both sides are going to win. You can win with integrity. And again, instead of coming in positionally, where this is what I want and this is what I'm going to get and you're going to give it to me and that's how it's going to go. Why do you want to do it this way? Here's why I want to do it this way. Here's the value I'm trying to get out of this. Here's the value I can bring to you. If I understand what you're trying to get out of this, maybe there's another way we can solve this relationship, this situation, this negotiation, and be more based on the principles. Now, there's a lot more in that book to cover, but right now I just wanted to point out how you could come into a negotiation, be fair, be reasonable, not be positional, but be principled, and really work on a win-win-win deal that will work for everyone sitting at the table. So hopefully this is something that can strike a nerve with you. There will be more deals coming. I do see the market turning. If there are investors out there who are going to be buying properties, going to be buying more properties, you definitely want to build a good reputation now to build a pipeline for those other opportunities to find themselves to you. Winning with integrity. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, all my real estate peeps. This is Brian Lucier with another episode of the Why Not Real Estate Podcast, talking about winning with integrity. We're going to sign off on this one, and we'll see you on the next one.